Hello students, let take up an interesting topic today with the India UAE trade relation or trade agreement. Okay, the United Arab Emirates is in early discussion with India to trade on oil commodity in Indian rupees. What is important? Why this is important? Because so they agreed, UAE agreed to trade oil non-oil commodities. Okay, in Indian rupees. Okay, this was declared by the Emirate Minister for Foreign Trade, Tan Al Jodi recently. The UAE signed a wide-ranging free trade agreement in 2022 with India. What? So FTA, Free Trade Agreement between India and UAE, United Arab Emirates, was signed in 2022 with which along with China is among the biggest trade partners for Gulf oil, Arab oil and gas producers, most of whose currencies are pegged to the US dollar. Fine. So, the EAE trade deal with India aims to increase bilateral non-oil trade to $100 billion in next 5 years. Okay, so what? Then to increase the non-oil trade to target to $100 billion, and this will be done in Indian rupee. Okay, this $100 billion odd bilateral trade volume will be in Indian rupee. Fine. The large majority of the Gulf trade is conducted in US dollar, but countries such as India and China are right now increasingly seeking to pay in local currency for various reasons, including lowering transaction cost. Fine, because India and China being big trade partners of United Arab Emirates, so they are right now increasing the demand to pay in local currencies for various reasons, including lowering transaction cost in case the item is dealt in the local currency than being dependent on the American dollar. Fine. This is the big news. About the deal, the new strategic economic agreement will increase bilateral trade in goods to 100 billion in 5 years between 2022 to 27. Of the signed agreement, and increase trade in services to $15 billion. So non-oil trade will grow to by $100 billion within this 5 years, and service trading will be the tune of $15 billion. The agreement is a comprehensive agreement which will cover trading goods, rules of origin, trading services, technical barrier to trade, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, dispute settlements, movement of natural person, telecom, custom procedures, pharmaceutical products, government procurement, intellectual property right, investment, digital trade, and cooperation in other areas. It's a wide range of domain in trade will be done between the two sides in the local Indian currency than excessively depending on the American dollar, in which the trade was being conducted till date. Fine. It will include a digital trade element which is a first of its kind for both the countries. Fine. So So this trade domain will cover what? Trade in goods, rules of origin, trade in services, technical barrier to trade, sanitary and phytosanitary, all WTO provisions. Okay, so which are dealt by WTO in international trading will be covered under this. Okay, then custom procedures, pharmaceutical products, government procurement, IPR, investment, digital trade, and cooperation in other areas. All will be covered under this. It will include the digital trade element, which is a first of its kind for both the countries. Right. The United Arab Emirates is India's third largest trading partner and second largest export destination. What? So looking at the status, so UAE is India's third largest trading partner and second largest export destination. The UAE is also the eighth largest investor in India with an estimated investment of around $18 billion. So UAE has invested around $18 billion in Indian capital market. Bilateral trade between India and UAE stood at 43.3 billion in 2021. What is the bilateral trade volume? Around 43.3 billion. UAE, you see, UAE also is a major oil supplier to India. Okay. So bilateral trade between India and UAE stood at 43.3 billion in 2021. Exports were 16.7 billion and imports driven by oil pushed the balance in favor of UAE at 26.7 billion in 2021 because UAE is one among the oil exporter to India. So the import from UAE to India is more than the export from India to UAE because India being a major oil importer from the world, UAE is one among the country from where oil is imported to India. That is why so the demand that in the trade in that export domain, so we exported less than we imported from United Arab Emirates. The lack of negotiations a free trade agreement with the GCC Gulf Cooperation Council comprising Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain as its member was first envisaged in 2007 but got struck after a couple of rounds of negotiation. So India want to have a negotiation with the all these Gulf Cooperation Council. Okay, Gulf Cooperation Council. But the Gulf Coast Council meeting between India and Gulf Cooperation Council was stalled. Okay, so it was not. It has not progressed as per the expectation. With few round of discussion, it was stalled. So the chances of this ultimate reaching some result in cooperation with the group is not possible. Okay, okay. Then lacking global giant experience. Despite being that US 2.5 trillion economy, Indian business are small in size. In fact, none of the Indian business giants come close to the big global conglomerate that have the capacity, infrastructure, and experience to handle huge investment. Although we are a 2.5 trillion economy with the dream to be a 5 trillion economy in future, but our means international exposure, okay, are comparatively less. And the procedural issues, including lack of planning, lack of complete information, bureaucratic bottlenecks, continue to remain a challenge for foreign investors despite significant efforts by the government in this direction to make investment easy and convenient. You see, although the government has taken many steps to make the investment friendly, make India investor friendly, and also to promote the Indian investment, okay, or Indian entrepreneurs to explore foreign soil. But so this is not that forthcoming as per the expectation of the government. So the reality is something different from the much below than the government's expectation. Okay, that means so the what the government expect to that Indian company should explore the global market. But you see, our company are not that big enough to go on their own to explore the global opportunity. So where even this cooperation in the non-oil sector with this United Arab Emirates may be one point of discussion. Okay, because so Indian companies have not that sort of global exposure or that sort of capital standing which can make them so to think in larger scale while dealing with these issues. That is a big setback, you can say, in Indian exploring the global market. Fine. But the government encouragement in this direction has been forthcoming. Government has always proactively supported this initiative, okay, by which so the Indian presence in other countries' market are being promoted by the government. Okay, including lack of planning, lack of complete information, bureaucratic bottleneck continue to remain a challenge for foreign investors despite significant effort by the government in this direction to make investment easy and convenient. Government organize many conclave. Even the state governments are right now being encouraged to organize investors conclave, like the Making Odisha conclave held recently by the government of Odisha to attract investors to Odisha. But although government has launched a number of initiatives, but the response is not as per the expectation of Indian market. The expectation or the response from both domestic as well as foreign investors on India. So each not as per the expectation or wish of the government and the present trend. So why this? Because this may be due to the inherent loopholes in the system. What are the inherent loopholes? One of such inherent loophole is the bureaucratic bottlenecks. Another may be so lack of planning, lack of complete information. Okay, so these are some of the bottlenecks. Okay, for which the investment from abroad that might have come to India had not been that forthcoming. So although it is coming, but the the trend or the pace is much slow than the expectation. Okay, expectation of the government as well as expectation of the Indian market. Okay, and the region is so there is some structural region and some procedural regions behind this issue. And the legal issues, the legal problem have in the past dampened foreign investment from coming to India. For example, so that means so the long and critical legal issues. The investment from United Arab Emirates. Okay. So legal problems have in the past dampened from foreign investment from coming to India. For example, investment from United Arab Emirates. Okay, Etilsat and Etihad have got strong legal problems, thus dampening investors' enthusiasm. So investment to India has come from UAE earlier, but due to legal issue of that how this money will come, the Indian law, and whether it will come and how it will be getting response in India. All these led to legal issues, and that has delayed as these two investments were put to legal controversy. So the other who are in pipeline to follow this investment from UAE, so they were discouraged, and investment that was supposed to come from them, okay, was delayed. That is a major issue between why the relation between the two sides, although might have been started much earlier, but delayed to such an extent. Okay, the delay is because so the investors uh, lost trust on the Indian market and the Indian response. Fine, and because the initial investors who came from this UAE were struck in legal controversy Okay, in India, while investing in India, as the initial investors were somehow entangled in legal controversy. So those who have to follow them in large scale or small scale, so they were discouraged. That is why so the investment which might have followed the smooth path, okay, was somehow derailed. Okay, that is taken as a major challenge right now. Fine. So to get back that trust, it will definitely take some more time to get back this trust which had been lost in because the initial hiccup created during the first phase of the investment in Indian economy, right? Because the initial response from those UAE investors was good to India, but India was unable to capitalize on it, and some of its initial investors were trapped in some legal issue, legal controversy in India as per Indian law that discourage other companies from UAE to access the Indian or invest in Indian market further. Fine. Political will. There are challenges pertaining to political diversions, especially when an election is approaching. India has a tendency to become focused inward and in this process ignore foreign policy. When election year approaches in India, normally Indian government became inward looking. So it tried to focus on the domestic matter more than on the investment issue because during the election period the entire focus of the government. So election year, when the election year approach, government's entire focus to the domestic domain because that can influence the voters behavior. Okay, so if they are able to launch or do or highlight on the local issues or the national issues or the that issue that was the cup of tea for everyone, so where they can project it that government is a people friendly government, so the focus on the bilateral relationship or trilateral multilateral relationship is put to the back benches in the election year, and it is said that as 2024 is an election year and 2023 the homework for the election has already started. So this initial response may be not that pursued vigorously by the government. Okay, the EU with an appetite for large scale investment needs to be continuously engaged. This is the suggestion that the UAE, because it is interested to invest in India, it must be pursued regularly to get the best out of it. Fine. Significance of the deal: enhanced market access. The government will provide significant benefit to India and UAE business, including enhanced market access and reduced tariffs. The CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, will boost bilateral trade from the current 60 billion to 100 billion by within the next 5 years. India welcome investment from the Gulf country into Jammu and Kashmir that would open new routes for regional trade and connectivity and advance the collective interest of India, Israel, UAE, and the United States. The deepening of the relationship with UAE would also help Indian exporters gain access to other West Asian countries, Africa, and some part of Europe. Digital trade, the early harvest agreement would likely include a chapter on digital trade, which could be aimed at enhancing cooperation between the two countries on digital trade in the future. Digital trade is likely to include framework on paperless trading, digital payment, and online consumer protection, as well as address issues such as intellectual property rights on digital trade and challenges to small and medium enterprises. Fine. The UAE hope to get enhanced market access in India for its petrochemicals, metals, and dates. Okay. Indian goods will flow to the other Gulf Cooperation Council countries as the UAE has no custom barrier. So any item entering to the United Arab Emirates can freely travel to other Gulf countries from UAE. Energy type: UAE is India's third largest supplier of crude oil and second largest supplier of LPG and LNG. Renewable energy is the next stop for bilateral energy cooperation (LNG) and the renewable energy. Fine. It may also give a boost to India's jewelry export to those countries. They expected to create new jobs, raise living standards, and provide wider social and economic opportunity in both the nations. Because UAE is a country which is very becoming close to India, investing in India. So the Prime Minister visited the country, and UAE became an investor in Indian economy. UAE India trade volume is growing, and the more and more sectors are being added to the dimension of trade between the two sides. All these have a bright prospect if followed properly. So in near future, both the countries bilateral trade will see a quantum jump. With this, we can say that the India-US Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement will further cement the already deep, close and strategic relation between the two countries and will create new employment opportunities, rising living standards and improve the general welfare of the people of the two countries. Further, both countries need to identify clear areas of focus and establish ways of working together to resolve trade remedy cases. Okay, this is what with this we can say that the relationship has a very bright prospect, and if followed properly, they will definitely bring a big boost to both the sides. Thank you for being with us.